Welcome to the flowerschool.com video library. I'm Leanne Kessler, Director of the Floral Design Institute, here to share with you our latest issue. Today, creating a long-lasting autumn bridal bouquet with a secret water source. It's sure to be a favorite. All of these flowers, they came in yesterday from florabundance.com. They were processed, hydrated to make sure they'd be absolutely fabulous. And now today, after drinking and rehydrating, so many fabulous things to work with that are sure to create a long-lasting bridal bouquet. As I was looking through the florabundance.com website to see what flowers I wanted to order for the autumn bouquet, I thought about the muted tones. I didn't want the traditional bright oranges and reds and yellows, the fire colors of autumn. I wanted something a little softer, more romantic. And that's why I picked the softer beige roses, callas, and then the cafe au lait dahlias. And then for texture, a variety of different pods. Then I called up my sales rep and I said, if there's anything else really cool, surprise me. And he did. And that's how I ended up with the Andromeda. Some people call it the lily of the valley bush or plant. So sometimes it's best to just go online and deal with it through the computer, and other times it's better to pick up the telephone and call. One of the things I knew I wanted was the lovely chocolate artichokes. They're a baby artichoke. And when you work with these, the stems are so big and chunky. It's a little bit difficult. So I cut them down. And when I cut, I do it at a strong slant so that as I wire and tape it, it'll sort of taper a bit, removing the lower little petals and doing the same thing with a second, cutting it at a slant, removing, and then using an 18 gauge wire, I pierce through the stem right below the artichoke's head, bending it straight down, and then I repeat that a second time. So I get a cross pierce, 4 wires, because I need that strength to support this head, but it's going to be so much more lightweight and so much less density of size on the stem. It'll fit in the bouquet nicely. So again, it's just cross pierce through the artichoke, bending it down, and then just tape it using your corsage tape to give it a beautiful stem to work with. And then as I create, I'm going to work with this just as though it was a natural stem, but it's a man-made wired and taped stem. When you're working with heavy items like the artichoke, they should be grouped close and tight in the center of the bouquet so that you have part of the accent and the weight centered over the hand. Now I also want to use some of the fern curls there, and they can be a little tricky because their heads want to go different ways and their stems are a little awkward sometimes. So oftentimes I'll take them and group them together in my hand and then just tack them lightly to hold them in place. And I can shift them a little bit, but not too much. So I tack them, and then I look at how I want to shift them, do a little bit of shifting, then go back, tucking in the artichokes, group together, and adjusting the height to get exactly where I want it all to be. And then once again, tacking this together so that I secure the center of my bouquet before I really begin working. Because I want to make sure that this part, the accent, will stay stable and not cause me frustration later on as I work on the bouquet. As I add in the materials to my bouquet, I lay them out on the table so that I can see the stems are nice and straight and clean. I've removed thorns, leaves, all the superfluous things so that I just have the beautiful blooms. And then I start tucking them into my hand. Maybe a little bit of the chocolate Queen Anne's lace, maybe a Vendella rose, maybe a second Vendella, and then turning it. Bringing in one of the quicksand roses, turning it. Some of the scabiosa pods. You can see the texture starts being so fabulous. And then turning, adjusting it. Maybe another of the quicksand. and then turning. You can see I've got quite a few roses on this side, all my texture on this side. So I'm going to go back with some echinacea pods, adding texture, maybe 3 of them, and then turning, bringing in the Café au lait dahlia. Isn't that just spectacular? And a second one, right terraced over the top, so that they're grouped together to give it greater value visually. Then turning it. And then I've got so much fabulous texture over here. It's time to bring in another rose to soften it, make it look a little more feminine. To bring in some of the soft feminine touch now to this side, adding in the callas, letting their faces drape outward, tucking it in, and adjusting the stem to make it stay put. Bring a second one right with it. So again, it gives it added value by shadowing one right underneath the other, and then adding a rose just to fill it in a little more, making it look luxurious, and then turning it. And things will shift a bit, bringing in another of the roses, and turning it. And then starting to look at the placement. Is everything staying where you want? And does it need to kind of tug up a little bit? Is there a front and a back? And then lastly, tucking a little bit of the Andromeda in, letting it drape over so that when it does, it softens the roundness and gives a little bit of movement right over on the side. Looking at the finished bouquet, I want to add just a little bit more of the chocolate Queen Anne's lace to bring some texture to the outer edges. Just tucking a little bit in, maybe right over on this other side too, giving it a turn, bringing it in place. And then to bind it all off, using just a little bit of bind wire. Holding it with one finger, and then wrapping above my hand. It's easiest if you just hold the bouquet upside down and then lash around 3 times or so, and then twisting the 2 ends together to make sure it all stays in place. Now comes the magic, providing the secret water source. I need to cut my stems down about 2 hand lengths, giving them all a cut. This way they have a nice fresh end. A couple wires in there. There we go. Then, using a paper towel, just wrapping it around and up so that I've got the ends covered, dipping that into a pitcher of water so it's nice and wet, and then taking that and placing the wet paper towel and the stems down inside a plastic bag, pulling it up tautly, and then once again wrapping it with bind wire to secure it so that I've locked the moisture in with the stems inside the bag. To conceal the secret water source, I'll ribbon wrap the handle using a double-sided satin. But to hold everything in place, I start with a little bit of clear waterproof tape and just lash all of this together, just wrapping it around. And it just ties the bag down to the bouquet, capturing it in, pulling the stems together tightly, and then going right back up to the top. And then giving it a cut. So it just all sticks together, ready for the ribbon wrapping. Then for the ribbon, pulling off a long piece, giving it a cut, and then a second shorter piece, just a little one, And I start with a single U-glue strip right down at the bottom, because this makes it so much easier to do the ribbon wrapping. Kind of lash that over the end, sticking it down, and pulling it off. And using that short piece just right over the top. Then I take one more of the U-glue strips. This will just make my life easier as I go to add everything together. Bringing it around the bottom, and then pulling it off. Then using the long piece. It's going to hang down one side and down the other, like so. So when I turn this over, water's probably going to drip out. But that's the excess water, so you don't need to worry about it. I just turn it upside down and then let it hang over, coming up and across the top, anchoring it to the glue, because that helps hold everything in place, then tucking it and giving it a 90-degree turn so that I start wrapping around the base, capturing all the ends onto the inside, going around, and again, tucking it. There we go, perfect. Getting all the ends tucked in there, leaving the extra going down the side. Then I start working my way up to the top. Tucking it in, pleating it as needed, a little bit there, tucking, wrapping. And as I get up close to the top, making sure that I get all the plastic concealed underneath, pulling it down, and then continuing to wrap, up and over, tucking. Then I can give it a half turn, and that helps me to go a little bit further. Then I get up to the top, and I take that extra little bit, and I'm going to knot these two ends together, pulling tautly, and then just pulling it with my teeth, and pulling it in, and then once again, tying it a second time to make sure that it can't let go. And then pulling tautly, so I have a beautiful handle. Ordering flowers from florabundance.com is easy. You can do it online, where they sort it by color or variety or season, or even if it has fragrance. Or you can pick up the phone and talk to a live person. And then you can rest assured, because they have a 100% money-back guarantee. They guarantee that their products are fabulous. Then it comes to you, the professional florist, and me, to make sure that we take care of it, to hydrate it all properly so that we can create these beautiful bridal bouquets. And then knowing the secret, how to provide a water source, that's just the best of all. That's going to make your customer so happy. Fabulous product in a beautiful bouquet that's oh so long lasting. For more creative inspiration and fun ideas with flowers, check out our website at flowerschool.com. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to contact us. You can reach us through the website or by telephone at 1-800-819-8089. And now that the world is so big, if it's easier, we're on different time zones or we speak different languages, feel free to use email. My personal email is Leanne, Leanne, at floraldesigninstitute.com. For now, have fun, happy wedding season in the autumn, and do something you love.